Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if you're new. So today we're going to be doing part 2 of our July color along. I'm super excited for this. I'm recording part 1 and part 2 back to back, so we still have a lot of crazy wind. I did listen to a little bit of the audio from part 1 and it doesn't seem like the camera's catching that, so, or the mic, sorry, it doesn't seem like the mic is catching the sound of the wind, thankfully, so hopefully it's okay. So again, I've just got my swatch book here and my color combinations book. We are using the Prismacolor Premier pencils, and we have been working in Whimsy Girls Around the World, and we are doing the O Canada page. So this is what we have done so far. I've got a couple of blank pieces of paper behind this page just to protect the page behind it. I'm really excited with how this is turning out and I can't wait to finish it. So if you haven't watched part 1 yet, I highly recommend you do so. It was so much fun to do this sky background. I'm really happy with that. It's so soft and beautiful. I really like how that turned out. So for this part, I think we're going to tackle the trees and the bushes, I think, is what we're going to do. Maybe the mountains. Let's start with the mountains and then we'll do the trees for sure. And then we'll maybe kind of just like work our way down the page kind of thing. Yeah, I think that'd be a good start because our mountains are going to have a little bit of snow caps to them. That's what these little gray pieces are going to be. So we're going to use some of the same colors that we used for the sky. So I think we'll tackle that. So let's go ahead and dive on in. So I don't know if I want to do the snow first or the mountains first. I think we'll tackle the mountains first and we'll put the snow in after. Actually, I think we're going to do the snow first because I'm a little bit worried if we do the mountains first, we might accidentally drag some of the mountain color into the snow while we're coloring it. So let's do the snow first. So I'm going to grab the same pencils that we used for the sky. So I think we're going to kind of tackle the snow the same way that we did the clouds. So let's go ahead and start basing that with the cream. So all of these kind of lines here. Oh, I think we should decide what's going to be snow and what's going to be mountain. Let's see if we do that. Okay, actually this is going to be, I'm going to erase that. This is going to be snow up at the very tops, obviously. So I'm just going to lightly erase that. It's not a huge deal since it's the cream. Okay, so this is going to be snow here. This just makes more sense to me because there's going to be some more snow along the top of the mountain and then less as it goes down. So we're just going to lightly base the inside of these kind of whiter areas. I think this is going to be snow here coming down to this line. Then we'll just kind of color the rest of that in as mountain down there, I think. And then it'll be snow here. Okay, I think that looks good. So I do want the snow to be a little bit darker than the clouds, I think. So let's go straight in with our Blue Violet Lake. And we're going to start adding some shadows just along the bottom of these lines here. Some of these bits of snow are going to be pretty small, so we don't have a lot of room to really work with, but as long as we get some of those colors in there, they don't have to be all going the exact same way. So some might just have pink, some might have a little bit more blue in areas. So we're just going to kind of play around with this and just kind of add colors randomly, and I think that's going to help keep it more natural looking. I'm going to go in fairly dark on the bottoms and then fade it out. We're not going to burnish anything because we're going to be going in with our whites or maybe a light blue to burnish. Miss Miko, do you want out? This is looking so pretty already. I'm already obsessed with this. Let's maybe fade this one up a little bit more. I kind of left that as a fairly solid line and I don't really like that. Okay, that looks good. So then we're going to go in with our pink rose. So we're going to go in over top of the Blue Violet Lake. And we're just going to bring this up a little bit. Maybe put a little bit more of the pink rose on the left side. Just to create a little bit of shadow, because again, our light source is coming in from this direction. And I am using kind of a light medium pressure for adding our colors in here, because again, we want them to be a little bit darker than the clouds, so that'll help us keep them a little bit darker. Some of these smaller ones, I'm mostly just going over the Blue Violet Lake just to give it that pink hue. Okay, I like the way that's looking, so let's go in with our deco pink now. I think I'm going to sharpen mine a little bit, just because we're working in such small areas, so. So now I'm just going to kind of fade this up, basically just from where we left off with the pink rose. Just because we don't want to go over the Blue Violet Lake too much, because then we'll end up burnishing it. And then it'll be kind of harder to blend into the colors later on. I think this side over here, let's just go ahead and color the rest of that in with the deco pink. Trying to be a little bit mindful of leaving white spaces, but if we can't, it's not a huge deal. I'm just going to blend our colors together anyways, so we'll still have most of them in the snow caps. But now we're going to switch to the cream. So just with a little bit of a medium pressure, I'm just going to pop this in on the top areas that we've left white. Got like a little spot here. I don't know if I like that. I don't know what it is, but I can't remove it, so I guess we're just going to leave it. Okay, that's looking good there. I don't think I want to use the cloud blue to burnish. Let's see here. Let's try this one here. Yeah, it kind of muddies it up a little bit. I don't like that, so we're not going to use this one. We're not going to use the light cerulean blue, and we're not going to use the white for now. So I'm going to grab the, I think it's the powder blue that I want. Let's see here. Actually, sky blue light. That is usually my favorite blue to use. So that one is right here, I think. 1086. I'm just going to double check because I can't see what this one's called. It's too short. 1086. Yeah, sky blue light. Okay. So I'm going to put a really sharp point on this guy. Let me grab the swatch for it. So I'm actually going to start in the shadows, using little circles to blend and burnish. And I'm going to work my way into the lighter areas. Yeah, that's much better. So this will actually give us a little bit of a blue hue, which we want in the snow. So that makes our snow look similar to the sky, but still different enough. It's amazing what just adding one different color, or it's amazing how just adding one different color can make it look so different. All right, I think that's good for our snow. So then let's figure out colors for the mountain. So I definitely want gray, and I'll probably lean more towards a cool gray because those are the ones I usually use. And most of these colors are fairly cool as well. So let's do, I don't want to go too light because I don't want it to blend into the snow too much. So I think the 20% cool gray will be our kind of lightest color. So we'll grab the 20, 30, 50, and 70, I think. I think the 70 will be the darkest we go. Let's see. 20, 30, 50, and 70. And I think I'm actually going to start with the 70. And now we kind of need to decide how we want to do this. I feel like with mountaintops covered in snow, you can go either way. You can either make under the snow a little bit darker and give that a shadow, or you can get above the snow darker and add a shadow. Wouldn't do both because then it would kind of end up looking funny. I think we're going to go above the snow for this one. So we're just going to carefully outline the snow here. And then we'll fade this color up a little bit. This is just our shadow color, so we're not really going to put this anywhere else that wouldn't have shadows. Some of these little areas here, I'm pretty much just going to outline the shadow in there because we don't really have much room for anything else. Maybe add a little bit of a shadow here, just to give this side a little bit of interest too. And I'm just kind of doing this completely randomly on how high I bring up this color. So again, we want some areas to be darker, some we want to be lighter. Also depends on how much room you have. I'm more likely to raise this on areas where we have a little bit of extra room. Add a shadow here. And then maybe a little bit of a shadow coming out from the trees. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. I'm just going to work on the fade in some of these spots. Just bringing it out a little bit softer. Okay, so we're going to do the same for this side. We are going to add a little bit of a shadow here on this edge here because it's kind of like two mountains connecting together. And then also kind of running along here where this back mountain kind of rises up. I feel like that's pretty good. Let's move on with our next color, which is the 50% cool gray. So for this one, I think mostly what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go over the 70% cool gray and just fade it out slightly if I can. I don't want the very tops of the mountains to be too dark. Definitely glad we colored the snow first because I think that definitely would have been a problem if we didn't. And again, mountains are natural, so they don't have to be perfect. 30% cool gray is next. Same thing, we're just going to lightly bring this up from our shadow colors. We're going to try and leave a little bit of white where we can, but if it's too small of an area, don't worry about it. I think that looks okay, so let's go in with the 20% cool gray. And this is the one we're going to use to kind of burnish everything. So I'm going to kind of blend and burnish this kind of like up and down, just so we can kind of blend all of those colors together. I'm not going to fully burnish it yet though, but we'll get a good start on it. Just because I'm kind of thinking maybe we should put a little bit of a shadow in underneath the snow, because it's kind of looking a little too close in color, and I kind of want the snow to stand out. Okay, I'm going to grab the 50% cool gray. See about making light shadows kind of underneath the snow, or a lighter shadow. So I'm going to follow along the bottom of the snow in kind of a harsh line and just fade it out slightly. Yeah, that's a little bit better. So I'm going to go ahead and finish burnishing. I'm going to stay away from that line though. I want it to stay fairly solid. So we're just going to do the same thing. We're going to use a medium pressure to kind of blend everything together. We're not going to fully burnish it. Then we'll go back in with our 50% and outline our snow along the bottom. Okay, after that's done, we'll go back in with our 20% cool gray and we'll finish burnishing everything, and again, just kind of staying away from the very top. Since it's lighter at the top, it's totally okay if it's not completely burnished. If there's white still showing through, that's fine. It's not going to be as noticeable as the darker spots with white showing through. Okay, I definitely think that looks a lot better. So then we're going to do the same steps over here. So now here you can really see the difference between the two. This does look okay, but I don't know, I just feel like the snow is just a little too lost in it. So back in with our 50%. Again, we're just gonna outline the bottom of the snow. Okay, and then back in with our 20% cool gray. All right, that looks good there. So let's go in with our Posca pen. And we are going to outline the tops of the snow. I'm not sure if we'll do more than the tops. We'll see. We'll start with the tops first. And then if we feel like the bottoms should be outlined as well, then we'll do those, but don't know if we need it. My Posca pen is not as good as it used to be. It's doing the job, but not very well. See, we can also add some little highlights to some of these trees here too, while we've got our Posca pen out. Might as well just do finishing details when we can, because one thing if we save them till the end, then it's kind of a little bit tricky to do because sometimes we have to wait for things to dry before we go back in. I'm also going to add Just little white accents to the sides of these trees here. It's kind of like little white scribbles almost. Make sure you put some kind of coming across. Add some white highlights to the trees back here, and that'll kind of help bring them out a little bit more. So maybe like some little triangles to kind of show that there's trees back there. I'll add like a couple little white highlights to the further trees in the back, but not a whole lot because you're not really going to see them. And a couple on this little tree here too. Oh, this is looking so pretty. I love it. I hope you guys are liking it too, because it's probably like the most detail I've put into a coloring page for the longest time. Okay. So I'm just going to put these swatch cards to the side. That way I know what I've used. Okay. Now I think we're going to tackle these trees here. I don't know why it looks so blurred out. I think that's better, hopefully. Okay, so I want to do like yellows and oranges for these trees. I want to keep it still very light. I lost my reference picture, so just give me one sec here. All right, let's pick out some colors. So let's see, we definitely want orange. That is a must. Okay, that's this one here. And then we want to keep it more like natural. So I'm thinking mineral orange because that's kind of more of a diluted orange. We don't really want colors that are like too bright. Like I definitely wouldn't use the neon yellow. The sunburst yellow is even a little too yellow too, but the Spanish orange might be okay. Let's grab that. A little bit of canary yellow. That one's fairly bright too, but that's okay. And then let's grab goldenrod. We're gonna grab the jasmine. That's gonna be, do we want jasmine or sand? Jasmine. It's gonna be kind of be our burnishing color, I think, to keep everything a little bit more muted. And then we do want some browns. So I'm gonna grab, I think the dark umber, which seems a little bit deep, but I think it'll be okay. And then Maybe let's do the chocolate, kind of more like a medium tone, and I think that should work. Okay, so I'm just gonna grab swatches for these. All right, so I got those pulled out. I don't know if we'll use all these colors, but they're probably good to have anyways. And I'm gonna kind of situate them from darkest to lightest. That way we kind of know what we're working with. Okay. Coffee. So let's start, since I don't really know what we're doing. I've only, like I said, I've only done leaves, like piles of leaves. I haven't actually done trees, so I think just to be on the safe side, we are gonna base our trees with the canary yellow just lightly. I don't know about this little part here. I think that might just kind of go up into the forest as like just a dark green. No, what color is a tree? This will be, oh, excuse me, this will be forest. Actually, no, tree. Let's kind of keep it pretty simple. Just gonna leave this out for now because I have to decide if that's gonna be tree or bush. Thinking tree. But it's a little bit low. We do have bushes that come up to here. Oh, and we missed an evergreen. I didn't notice that guy there. At least I think that's an evergreen. I guess we could do it as a bush, but I think let's keep these our trees. We'll do this as a bush since it comes up kind of high on this side too. We want it to balance. This little area here, I don't really know. Apologies if you can hear the vacuum. Rain loves to clean while I'm recording videos. And yard work and housework, that's never changed. Okay. So, got a cat at the door. That's gonna be Stitch. Oh, hello, sir. I knew it wasn't Lilo because she's curled up in the chair. And Miko usually won't hang out in here these days. Sometimes, not very often. Okay, we're gonna want really sharp pencils for all of this. So we're gonna start with the dark umber. We don't want too much of this. This is mostly gonna be a shadow color. So in like our darkest shadows, we're gonna have this. We're gonna pop a little bit up here, a little bit here, kind of coming in under here. Back here a little bit maybe. And we're gonna kind of fade it out funny. It doesn't have to like all fade out together. We're just gonna kind of bring it out randomly. but not too much either. Okay, that's probably good on that side. So let's just pick out some darker shadows over here. I think this tree looks like it's in front of this one, so we'll go above this line. Okay, I think that's good there. Now that we're happy with those, let's just darken them up a little bit. Maybe not all of them, but just a few of the really dark areas. So maybe back here will be a little bit darker. In here would probably be pretty dark. So it looks like that's kind of like two trees kind of closing in on each other. Like down here would be a little bit dark because it's at the bottom of the canopy of trees, so that would be fairly shadowed. In here as well. Maybe up here. And here. Oh yeah, and then in here I think too. Okay, I like that. So that is probably it for the dark umber. I don't think we'll need a whole lot more of that. So let's move on to the chocolate, and this we're gonna kind of bring out from the dark umber a little bit. Just lightly, we don't need a whole lot of this color. We can also use this to kind of add a little bit of lighter shadow to some areas. Okay, I think that looks good. So our next color is the mineral orange, which again is going to be going over our darker colors, and this is going to give them that orange tone that we want. You can kind of fade this one out wherever. This process, again, just can be super messy. I think that's one thing I'm liking lately about coloring more natural pages, because I'm finding that not being a perfectionist about them is actually really beneficial to the pages. And it's good practice for me because I like to be in control of everything. So when I'm coloring a page like this, it kind of helps me let loose, and I can just kind of focus more on the process rather than the outcome, if that makes sense. I'm a little too happy crazy with this color, maybe I have to tone it down just a little bit. I'm not filling so much area. Okay, Stitch is done drinking water. I let him out. They hate when I kiss their noses, but I can't help it because they're so cute. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, goldenrod is next. This one is very close to the mineral orange. So I don't really know how much of this we need, but it seems like a fairly fall color, so I kind of like that. Let's maybe use this to start burnishing some areas. So maybe the darker areas we'll start burnishing with this. I don't even know if we'll use the jasmine to mute this because these colors are already fairly muted as is. I think the only one I was concerned about was the canary yellow, which we might not use. We might not need it. So the way I've always tackled the autumn leaves that I've colored is just by doing like blobs and splotches everywhere and just kind of messily laying colors down. So that's kind of what we're doing here. And it usually seems to work, and so far I think it's looking pretty good in my opinion, so. We do kind of want to keep the darker colors kind of closer to the shadows though, and then save the lighter areas for the highlights. This goldenrod is such a beautiful color. Hopefully you guys can see the swatch cards. I'm probably putting them up way too high. I am too. Darn it. Okay, put them here. I didn't think about that till right now. Sorry. Okay, I think that's looking pretty good. So our next color is the orange. Actually, this was another one I was a little bit worried about because it's very bright. So let's just start lightly adding this in. I think maybe we will go over everything with the jasmine just to make everything kind of cohesive in a sense. It's got a lot of random kind of colors everywhere. There'd still be a lot of random colors everywhere, but they'd all be kind of muted with the same color. So yeah, I'm not going too dark at all with the orange. I think that's all I want for that one. Okay, Spanish orange. This one needs to be sharpened. Yeah, I think we'll just leave our canary yellow as the base for the trees. I don't think we'll add any more of that. And then we'll just go over everything with the jasmine, I think. So I am leaving some white areas for the jasmine just because that's going to be our lightest color. And that will kind of mix in with the canary yellow we laid down. And that should give us a really nice highlight color, I'm hoping. Definitely going to go over the orange with the Spanish orange though. So I think that was just a little too light, and Doesn't really match the rest of the colors, but it still adds a nice element to the page, so that's okay. I'm going to color most of the bottoms of these leaves with the Spanish orange and leave the tops as our highlights. Okay, I like that. So now with our jasmine, we're just going to go in and burnish and layer over everything. We're going to use circular motions because that's going to blend our colors together and it's going to make them look really nice. So in my opinion, that's like very little effort. We didn't really do a whole lot aside from just like randomly throw colors down, and it looks so good. So I really, really like that effect. Or technique, whatever you want to call it. Kind of both. I like the effect that that technique gives. There we go. I can't English most days, so it's just a thing that doesn't happen. Oh my gosh. This is looking so pretty. Probably seem like like vain with saying that always, but it's not very often that I'm like this satisfied with a picture. What are we at for time? Okay, so we still have half an hour. I think we can tackle the bushes. I think that's manageable. So these can go up here. We gotta figure out a color. I kind of am thinking kind of like a mossy kind of color for the bushes. I'm actually gonna check my color combination book here. Sorry, I'm not gonna zoom out because it's just a pain to do that. So this is all of the greens I have. I kind of like this one, but I don't know if that would go very well. One thing I love about my new color combo book is I can pull this out, kind of lay it closer to the page to get a better idea of how it's gonna look. Okay, so I definitely like that sepia color with kind of like the Prussian green. I don't think I really need the olive because they're very close together. I don't know about the lime peel though. I don't know about this yellow. Maybe that might be nice. Maybe do the lime peel and then we'll do the gray green light to tone it down, I think. Let's do that. Let's see what that'll look like. So I'm gonna grab those colors, grab the swatches, and I'll be back in less than a second. Okay, so I grabbed our colors, except I decided to go for the marine green instead because I really like that color compared to the Prussian green. I think the Prussian green is a little bit too on the greener side, and then the marine green is more on the browner side, which is kind of what I'm going for because I don't want the bushes to blend in too much with the forest, but I do want them to complement the forest. So I think these colors will work better, and then we're going to use black for like the really dark shadows, kind of going deeper into the forest to show the depth. Ugh, coffee, sorry. Cannot survive without coffee. My throat's a little bit sore. Little man had a fever last night, so he was better this morning, but he said he had a weird taste in his mouth, which worries me because every time he has said that previously, before he got his tonsils out, it was something to do with his throat. He usually got strep throat or tonsillitis. But he does have his tonsils out. He got them out when he was 5, so I don't know what the issue would be. And I have heard that they can grow back, so I'm always a little bit worried about that. But hopefully that never happens. Okay, let's make sure we're good in frame, and as long as I keep the swatch here, we should be fine. All right, so we're just gonna go ahead and base everything here. I wonder if this is sand. Should we do that as sand, maybe? So it looks like we kind of got like grass going here. I wonder if anybody else did that as sand. I'm just gonna scroll through these quick and see. Okay, there was a couple people that did do that as sand, and I definitely like that. Yeah, that's gonna be sand, okay. So we're just gonna base all of the bushes. This could be a bush or a rock. I think it's a rock. I don't know. Don't really know what it is. Okay, this will probably be bushes back here. I think I want to do that as a little evergreen tree. I think we're going to. So we're going to leave that. We'll come back in with our evergreen tree colors there. So I think it would just balance the page out a little bit because you've got trees on this far side, trees on this far side. It'd be nice to have one in the middle. It's kind of weird that he's like off on his own. I don't even know if that's supposed to be one of the evergreen trees or it just coincidentally looks like one, but we're going to use that to our advantage. And this, I don't know, I think it's a rock. We're gonna color it as a rock, I guess. There was someone who colored it as a bush though, and I actually like that. So we got a rock there, a rock there. No, we'll keep that as a rock. I like things grouped in 3s better than 2s. I don't know why. I feel like 3 is just like that magical balance number. Okay, and we don't have any bushes down below, which is fine because this green is directly in the center of the page, so it's already pretty much balanced for the most part. So next we'll switch to our black, or nope, sorry, sepia. We're gonna switch to sepia. And we're gonna start putting in our shadows, and then we'll come back in with the black and deepen some of them up. That's a base right here. So I'm gonna make these shadows kind of coming out from the bushes a little bit dark. So I really want these bushes to pop and stand out. And again, it's nature, so it does not have to be perfect. I think doing these bushes is going to pop us a little bit over the hour-and-a-half that I like to try and keep. But if it does, that's fine, and if not, even better. I'm so excited to finish this. I will admit there's some color alongs that I'm actually not a fan of that I've done, like Lisa and Jaden, for example. I really like that one, except for the clouds. Definitely royally messed up on the clouds. But I've always said from the beginning when I first got into this channel that I would show you guys the good, the bad, and the ugly. Yeah. Surprisingly though, I don't think I've ever seen any pages done from that color along that changed the clouds. So maybe it's just a me thing, maybe you guys liked it and I just didn't, I'm not sure. I think we want the bottoms of the bushes here to be a little bit darker too. Okay. So we actually want it to get darker as it goes into the forest. So we are going to add some of the sepia coming kind of down from where the bushes disappear as well. I'm going to darken those up a little bit in the areas where we can. Like here, we don't really have a whole lot of room. We can darken it up slightly, but not too much. I think that's good for now. We might add more of the sepia later, but let's go in with our black and pick out our really dark shadows. So definitely coming out from the forest. I think we want to be a little bit darker, so we'll add some black in just along, again, underneath everything that kind of cuts out from the forest, or from the bushes, I mean. Where the bushes disappear, I should say, into the trees. I don't want these to be like super sudden shadows either, so we want to really kind of blend them down. Make sure they fade nicely. I'm still considering getting back into live streams too. They wouldn't be committed live streams though. It would just be like a when I can kind of thing. So one of the things holding me back is I know the coloring community can be a little bit territorial, I guess is the word to use. I don't think I used my swatch card. If I didn't, I'm sorry. If I already removed it, then don't mind me. But yeah, I would be a little bit worried about someone getting offended if I ended up streaming over their time. Because really no one owns time, and all of that nonsense was just ridiculous. There was a lot of drama surrounding that. Okay, we're just going to fade from the black kind of out, and we're going to deepen up some of our shadows with the sepia. Yeah, a lot of that was just silly and childish. And that's part of the reason why I disappeared, aside from, you know, my email getting hacked forever ago, which thankfully, since I was smart and turned on my two-step verification, that helps so much. It's a pain in the ass if I don't have my phones near me, but it is handy. And then just getting caught up with work and starting the job and then starting another job. It's just a lot. Life is a lot sometimes. And then never mind the boys. So yeah, I would probably be like I would try to do it at least 2 times a month, I think, if I got back into it. It would probably either be a Wednesday or a Thursday, depending on my days off, because if I do work an extra day or like need a day off throughout the week, because I usually work Sundays, Mondays, and Tuesdays at Sev now, since I've gone full-time with Hannah. So I usually work Sundays, Mondays, and Tuesdays at Sev, but let's say I need like a Sunday off or the Monday off, then I'll usually work the Wednesday instead to still keep my 24 hours. So I can't always do Wednesdays. And that is why I would worry about, you know, someone getting irritated if I'm streaming over them. Which, I mean, to me, I never really cared if anybody streamed at the same time as me. People are going to watch who they want to, and that's just how it is. And if I'm being honest with you guys, I feel like I kind of suck at streaming anyways, because, again, English is hard. But I do miss it. I will say that. And I do get quite a few requests, so maybe one day, even if I don't get back into like a regular streaming schedule and just do like random impromptu hop-on streams, I think that would be okay. And then just screw what anybody has to say about it, I guess. All right, I like where our shadows are. Okay, I lied. I gotta add more to this spot here. I forgot about those. Okay, now I like where our shadows are. So we're gonna go in with the marine green. Again, I'm gonna keep my pencil nice and pointy. I think this is gonna be, excuse me, I think this is gonna be the main color for the bushes. So I think areas like this, I'm just gonna completely color in with this color. Kind of coming out from the forest, we're just gonna go over all of that and give it a green tinge. But it's gonna stay dark and it's gonna be done. These I think we'll just color straight in, same with this one. And then this one as well. So I'm just gonna kind of match this coming across. Okay, so all of those areas are pretty much burnished. So now we're gonna work from our shadows upwards, and we're gonna leave a little bit of a highlight for our line peel. This is such a beautiful color. I love this color. I'm usually not even one for like bright colors and stuff. See, this is gonna kind of look funny now because we have this all colored in. There wasn't any lines there, so we're just gonna leave it. When looking at the bigger picture, nobody's gonna notice. But yeah, I usually gravitate towards like the really bright pinks, bright blues, bright purples. But I don't know, there's just something about this color that makes me happy. Here, I think we want it to be fairly lighter, so we're still going to add our marine green in here, but we're going to leave more space for our lime peel. Mainly because these bushes are kind of under the trees and these ones are not. So they're not going to be as shaded. I think that makes sense, yeah. This I think is bush 2. We'll do that as a water puddle. Will be different. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing over here. This is just going to be straight green. I think that's good. All right, that looks good. So lastly is our, oops, I was gonna grab gray green light. Nope, not lastly. Okay. Next is lime peel and then potentially gray green light if we need it. I'm just gonna start lightly adding this and see. I think this is okay. I don't think we need the gray green light. I'm not going over like the super dark areas, but kind of like the medium areas I am still going over with the lime peel to give it a little bit of a tinge. It's not making a huge difference because it's pretty much burnished, but it helps a little bit. We're gonna get rid of the gray green light because we don't need that one. At least not yet. Maybe for the water. Because here in Alberta, we don't really have really bright, pretty water. It's usually like a muddy color or like a slightly green color. It's still pretty and everything, but I guess Banff usually has fairly blue water from the pictures I've seen, but I want to do this more like a lake, I think. More like a lake from around where I'm from, I should say. All right, let's see what we're at for time. So we still got 3 parts left. She's gonna take at least 2. Let's do the sand, I think. We'll get the sand done as well. We use the dark umber, right? Yeah, for the trees. So we're gonna want that. And then, so that'll be like our shadow. Maybe a little bit of the black. So we'll grab that too. Where did I put that one? Okay, black. This is the wrong book. I want this one. Okay, we need a sandy color. I want to kind of keep colors that we've already had. So maybe let's grab the chocolate again. If I can find it. There that is. And then I think putty beige, and that should be okay. Okay, let's try these colors. I think this will make an interesting sand color. So dark umber, chocolate, black, and putty beige. Okay. Okay, got some sharp points. We're actually going to start in with the black, I think. And this, I think I'm just going to kind of tuck this underneath these bushes here. Maybe a little bit under the puddle, a little bit under these rocks to give them a shadow. We don't have a lot of room here and I don't want to make this super dark, so I'm just going to put a light shadow on this side. And then there's not really much to shadow here, maybe these like little holes and dots, and lightly underneath there. That's probably going to be it for the black. So then we're going to switch to the dark umber, and that is what we're going to go over the black and kind of blend out. So don't really have like super light sand here. It's usually more like dirt. So I'm going to use a fair bit of the dark umber. Maybe make a shadow coming under the tree too. A little bit coming up from the bushes. Okay, let's add a little bit of the chocolate. Just gonna lightly add this. We're just gonna build up these colors because I don't quite know the color I'm going for, but we'll see what we can do. Okay, that doesn't look too bad, but I definitely want more dark umber. So we're going to deepen these shadows even further and then bring the dark umber out a little further. I do want shadows coming up from these bushes because I kind of want to frame the sand or the dirt. I think from there we're going to lightly go over everything with the dark umber. And then lastly with the putty beige we'll burnish. Burnish and blend. I guess we could have left it like that too. Maybe not so much on this side. This side could use some work, but this side looked okay. Kind of actually looked textured, which I kind of liked, but oh well. We can fix that. All right, there we go. Part of me almost wants to just color in this entire background and leave her uncolored. I think just to see what it looks like, we're gonna finish coloring in the whole background and then kind of go from there. I'm not gonna worry about this little tree here yet. I don't think, well, maybe we should. Okay, I'm not gonna include these colors in the intro. So indigo blue. I'm just gonna come in on the side and pop that in there. Yeah, I'm not gonna include these colors just because it's such a small area. Sepia. Just gonna lightly go over that. Dark green. I think I'm gonna skip the parrot green for this one and just go straight in with the true green. Just because this tree is tiny, there's not a lot of room. There we go. A little baby tree. And then I think lastly, while we have these colors out, let's go ahead and color the rock. Actually, I don't think we need the 50. I think let's do the 70 and the 20. So we don't really need to put a whole lot of effort into the rocks. It's 30. Okay, there's 20. And there's 70. All right. So I'm just going to color kind of the bottom of the side with the 70%. Same with these ones. So that's pretty much it. And then we're just going to go straight in with the 20%. I'm going to start in the shadows and I'm going to pull that color up into the highlights. because that'll kind of make it look like 3 colors. This rock, I think I'm just gonna add a tiny shadow and just color it with the 20%. There, that's it for the rocks. All right, I think this is our stopping point. There's a lot of colors used, so I'm really hoping that I kept all the colors I used. If not, at least I mentioned them so you guys can grab them. So let's go ahead and zoom out here so you can see what we're working with. That looks so good. I forgot we're gonna do one more thing because we've been working on our highlights as we go. So using our Posca pen, we're just gonna create some white highlights on these trees here. Same as the previous trees, we're just kind of doing this randomly. For the most part though, we're sticking to like the lighter areas. And then let's do some on the bushes too. Just a little squiggles. A highlight on the rock, maybe like a couple little dots on that. Some dots on the ground. Not too much. We're gonna come back in with a black and a brown. Gonna add some color there. Okay, I like that. So now we're gonna grab a black and a brown fine liner. And we're just gonna add some dots to the dirt. Not too much because we don't want to make it look sparkly, but we do want to make it look more kind of coarse. There we go. Maybe let's just put like a couple little black dots on the rocks too, just to give them a little bit of extra detail. There. I think that's good. All right, so here's what we have so far. Don't mind the mess. So it's about 1 o'clock my time. I might have time to film part 3 today, but we'll see. I don't want to overdo it either, so we'll kind of see how it goes and go from there. But this is what we have so far for part 2. I'm so excited about this. I am obsessed with how this is looking, and I didn't really have too much of a general idea when I decided to pick this page, but so far I think it's turning out amazing. I hope you guys are enjoying as well. I hope you're learning some new techniques or just having fun in general. But yeah, that's it for part 2. I will see you in part 3. As always, take care and hopefully I'll see you next time. All right, guys, bye.